Sullivan views the person, significant others and the self. A person's needs and developmental tasks are met in a series of personal relationships. Basically, whatever we learn or whatever we experience in our life, that requires two persons to be involved in that. A person needs gratification of needs depend upon the environment. Another person who is involved in that relationship is basically the environment for the first person. So, need of another person also depend upon the presence of the first person. So, throughout the life from childhood, we are interacting with different people and we have interacting with different people and situations. So, we have a series of relationship up till now. Take an example, a writer writes a book, an author writes a book, and he wants other to acknowledge his or her efforts. So, writer needs of gratification. The writer needs depend upon the reader who have passion for learning. So, writer need can never be, is not possible to be gratified until and unless reader is there. So, reader who have passion for learning, who wants to read or who has thirst for knowledge, his gratification will not be possible to be gratified until there is a good author who has ability to write something good for the readers. So, both reader and author are dependent on each other, and their development is also requires a two-person relationship. So we human beings socially, cognitively, physically and emotionally respond to certain situations, and we are expected to perform certain tasks which are the requirement of that developmental phase of life. So all these things are depend on the two-person relationship. Significant other are those who are most meaningful to us in our lives. We have different people in our life, but not everyone has paramount importance in my life, and not everyone is significant enough for me. Definitely there are some people who are dearer to me and who are very close to me, and without them I can't imagine to survive in my life. Suppose my mother, my brother, my husband, and similarly you are having parents, siblings, and you feel comfortable. These significant people are the source of comfort for you, and you feel good when you are sitting or spending time with those significant ones. Self-esteem is the part of personality which is born entirely out of influence of significant others upon one's feeling of well-being, and these significant people basically help in developing the self-esteem. Self-esteem is a part of personality, but with the passage of time, when we start interacting with different people, especially significant one, and the type of experience we gain from that significant one will develop our self-system. And what is basically the self-system is? And that self-system is basically interconnected network of beliefs, and it also contains experience, and person basically collect his self-perception in his self-system. So, person experiences of approval, disapproval, sense of good and bad, all these things are stored in self-system, and based on all these beliefs and perceptions, person is behave in future in the light of all beliefs and experiences, beliefs and senses which have been collected इन सेल्फ सिस्टम. आप ये समझ लें कि जो हमारे सिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशनशिप्स होते हैं, ये सिग्निफिकेंट रिलेशनशिप जैसे सपोज हमारी मदर, फादर, भाई या कोई और एल्डर, या हमारे सोसाइटी में ताया, पुप्पी, चचा या हमारे दादा दादी, these people are also significant for us. तो हम उनके साथ जो वक्त गुजारते हैं तो we learn a lot of things from them. These people have significant influence on our human personality. So the experiences we gain and the experiences we have with these significant people basically shape our self system. और किस तरह के हमारा जो सही और गलत का जो सेंस डेवलप होता है, या हम अपने बारे में अच्छा सा फील करते हैं या हम अपने बारे में बुरा फील करते हैं, ये सारी चीजें हमारे ये परसेप्शन और ये हमारे बिलीव्स और अप्रूवल, डिसअप्रूवल, हेट, लव फीलिंग्स, ये सारे बिलीव्स हमारे उस सेल्फ सिस्टम में कलेक्ट रहते हैं और वही सेल्फ सिस्टम जो है वो हमें आगे फ्यूचर में हमारी एडजस्टमेंट और हमारी फर्दर पर्सनालिटी की डेवलपमेंट में एक रोल प्ले करता है. And our self-esteem is also depend upon the self-system. And what is the self-esteem? Our sense of self-esteem depend largely on the positive and negative evaluation we receive from other people. If we are receiving positive evaluation regarding ourselves and we receive positive feedback from the people, and if we have people who positively and or suppose who encourage us whenever we are indulging in our task, so that will be the positive evaluation of our ability and self. So it will enhance our self-esteem. And what is the self-esteem? Is basically self-esteem is overall sense of self-worth or personal value. How do I perceive myself? How do I value myself and how do I consider my self-worth? आपको लगता है मेरी अहमियत है या मैं जो भी हूँ ठीक हूँ, बेहतर हूँ. If you are feeling good about your own self, it means you are having positive self-esteem and high self-esteem. And if you criticize your own self and you will find weakness again and again, weakness in yourself, and if you do not give enough worth to yourself, तो इसका मतलब है you are feeling low regarding your own self. So this self-esteem also it depends upon the feedback and the response we receive from the significant one. अगर आपको लोग आप पर तनकीद करते हैं, आपके काम में खामियां निकालते हैं, आपको गलत तरीके से हैंडल करते हैं, they don't teach you how to perform a task but they just criticize you on your performance, तो उससे क्या होगा? Your self-esteem is likely to be low. तो आपका वो जो सेंस होगा, आपकी जो एक सेल्फ वर्थ, आपके अंदर सेंस है, सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ वर्थ एंड पर्सनल वैल्यूज है, तो वो सेंस जो होगा दैट विल बी ग्रेजुअली डिमिनिश्ड एंड द डे कम्स व्हेन यू फील लो. ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ पीपल ट्रीट यू पॉजिटिवली एंड पीपल प्रोवाइड यू पॉजिटिव feedback regarding yourself, okay, they also point out your mistakes. It doesn't mean if a person who provide positive feedback will never find mistake in you. Okay, we are human beings and whenever we are required to perform a task, mistakes are expected to be there. But what is important? You admit your mistake and you try to amend your work. So in the same way, another person will be responding or providing you the feedback, but the way a person, significant person, evaluate performance is largely determine your level of self-esteem. So what happens if a person interacts with another one in order to perform certain tasks and to gratify his need? So the kind of experience he or she is having, being the part of a interpersonal situation, will determine the self-system and then determine the sense of self-esteem. Now, the another concept given by the Sullivan, a need for tenderness. That is infant's need, which refers to relief from various tension. Basically, infants, you see, infants' dependency revolve around a mothering one, a significant relatively adult personality whose cooperation is necessary to keep the infant alive. Relationship with significant others and feelings of well-being may alleviate the interpersonal anxiety. Students, you have observed an infant or a child who or child is totally dependent on adult figure, attachment figure for the gratification of his need. Basically, what happens with the infant and child? A child needs can create tension, and if it is not gratified on time, a child cries whenever he or she feels hungry, whenever he or she needs water, whenever he or she needs to take sound sleep. So all these needs are producing the tension in a child, but child needs immediate gratification of those needs, and mother or primary caregiver is the only person who is the big source of relieving that tension being produced by the needs. So mother is there, and mother is the only personality whose cooperation, on timely cooperation, make the infant alive. You think for a while, if child is feeling hungry, or if 6-month-old infant is crying for food, for milk, and no one provides milk to that infant, so what will happen to that child? His survival will be difficult. So need for tenderness, when mother is there to cooperate and to exhibit sympathetic behavior toward child, that will automatically reduce the tension, and besides gratifying the physiological needs. And then that relationship is significant. One may also increase the feeling of well-being, and which further is likely to reduce or eliminate the interpersonal anxiety. Other basic concept given by Sullivan were empathy, anxiety, and security. The tension of anxiety present in mothering induces anxiety in the infant. Unsympathetic behavior of mother-caregiver transfer anxiety. Infants participates in caregiver tension or discomfort through empathy. And what empathy is? Empathy refers to the peculiar emotional linkage between infant and significant other. Mother, if you see the child-mother relationship, infant-mother relationship, you see mother is not only there to gratify the physiological need of the child, but mother is also becomes the source of transferring anxiety or anxiousness and distress in child. When mother exhibits unsympathetic behavior toward child, and is own self experiencing distress, and is not feeling comfortable while being close to the child, so all these emotions and tensions are also transferred from mother to child. An infant at that time become a participant of caregiver tension, and child is basically sharing the mother's tension and discomfort through showing empathy. Here empathy is basically an odd and problematic emotional linkage between infant and significant one. So the mother and child are also emotionally connected to each other. So that emotional linkage, if it is not healthy and odd, and then it will pave the way to transfer that anxiety, tensions and emotional distress from mother to चाइल्ड. तो आप इसको थोड़ा सा इस तरह भी अंडरस्टैंड करें कि मदर जो है, बच्चा जो है वो फील कर रहा होता है कि व्हाट इज हर मदर इज फीलिंग एट दैट टाइम. तो मदर को या एडल्ट्स को ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए कि हमारा बच्चा जो है वो ये इसे सिर्फ खाने के लिए चाहिए या इसे सिर्फ पहनने के लिए चाहिए. यूजुअली हमारे यहाँ जो है वो ज्यादातर कॉन्सेप्ट यही है कि मदर is there or caregiver is there to provide all facilities to children. लेकिन ये भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज ध्यान में रखनी चाहिए कि वो जो रिलेशनशिप होता है उसमें सारे इमोशंस और फीलिंग्स और थिंकिंग, ये सारी चीजें जो हैं साइड बाय साइड, all these as things, tensions, worries and distress are also being transferred from one generation to another. और ये एडल्ट केयर गिवर से ये चीजें जो है बच्चों में आती हैं और बच्चा बहुत अच्छी तरह समझ रहा होता है कि मेरी माँ जो है what she is feeling or experiencing right now. An infant is dependent on other for the gratification of need. For example, hunger. Only mother can provide the relief to infant during helpless condition in form of interpersonal security. Interpersonal security refers to the relaxation of the tension or anxiety which is experienced as a return to a tranquil, controllable state. Now, what happens to a child? An infant is totally dependent on adult caregiver for the gratification of need. If a child is hungry, he or she cannot take food by oneself. Someone adult caregiver must be there. So in that helpless situation, basically infant is helpless. The child is helpless at that time. So in that helpless condition, only mother or caregiver, primary caregiver, can reduce the tension and can help the child in that situation and can be the source of interpersonal security. So when mother timely respond to infant in helpless condition, basically mother is become the source of interpersonal security. She is providing the security. She is developing the sense of interpersonal security in child. So interpersonal security is the release from tension or relaxation from of the tension, anxiety that is being produced because of the troubling state. But now, due to interpersonal security and due on timely provision of interpersonal security, will turn back infant to the untroubled state, and infant emotionally will be relaxed, mentally relaxed, and emotionally feel relaxed